Welcome back to my channel, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm working in this area of my home once again. This is a walk-through area by our dining room to every part of our home, and it is where I keep my essential oil diffuser. And I wanted to find some sort of cute way to house my oils, my oil collection, so they weren't in that box and they weren't just hanging out all over. So today's video is solving that storage problem. So first of all, I want to let you know that I'm just using trash to treasure. Everything I am using, I've found in my garage, including this cabinet door. So that is where I'm starting. I had this cabinet door. I had a couple of them left over, and so I'm just going to use that. That's going to be the measurement for my overall cabinet, and I'm just going to build basically a set of shelves that I can attach the cabinet front to. I am definitely not a cabinet maker, so this took a little bit of planning, and because you can see that this cabinet door already had a little bit of wood stuck to it from a previous owner, that I just kind of went with that and made it work. So I wanted those little strips of wood to fit inside of the cabinet itself. So I'm using 1x4s, and again, these are just something I had in the shop, but if you had to go and purchase them, they're fairly inexpensive. You can get them fairly cheap. I like to keep this type of wood in the shop at all times because it never fails. I want to create a project and I don't have the type of wood. So 1x4s are something that I keep in the shop at all times. So I'm just cutting them down to the measurements that I need, and I'm basically creating a rectangle that is the size of the cabinet door that I need. And then I decided to use 1x2s as the shelves because the 1x4s would not allow for that cabinet door to close the way that I wanted to. So I just cut a bunch of 1x2s, and then those are going to be my shelves. And really, I did measure the size of the bottles, and then I just kind of laid them out the best that I could. Once I had everything measured and ready to go, I went ahead and sanded all the edges, and I was ready to start putting it together. I decided that I wanted to try the Cricut jig again, and it really didn't work out the way that I wanted it to, just because the boards were a little bit smaller than what I had worked with before, and so I have a little bit of practice. So I do a fairly good job of being handy in the shop, but the Cricut jig is just one of those things that I really need to learn how to master. You can see me drilling all 3 holes. I don't need that, I only needed 2. But I just didn't like the way that it went together for this project. Like I said, practice, and that's what I was basically doing here, was just kind of playing around and practicing. So I went ahead and just used my brad nailer and put it all together, and once I got the shelves on and everything, it worked out just fine.
I can't forget the day we met. Your eyes so blue, me piercing through. I can't forget the day we met. Your smile so bright, it made me swoon. Our love is like a summer's day, hot and endless in a magic way. Whenever I see you, all I can think is my son.
Once I got all of that figured out, then I needed to put a back on, and I had these like 1/4-inch sheets of wood. I picked up a whole bunch of them at a garage sale a couple of years ago, and so I've just kind of had them, but they worked perfectly for the back of this cabinet because really nobody's ever going to see the back of it, and it was a nice flat piece, and it's not too bulky. It's very lightweight, so it doesn't add weight to the back of my cabinet. I'm not sure what they're called. I will look and see if I can find that and link it down below, but it's just a very, very thin piece of wood, almost like a balsa wood. So once I got the back on and I had the shelves on, I was pretty excited about it. And at that point, you really could just leave it like that if you wanted to. But it was time to stain it. And because of that space in my room, I have lots of browns going on there. I do have some black from the clock and a couple of other things. And I thought I kind of want to pull the black in. And as soon as I started staining this, I went, oh gosh, maybe I don't want to do that. But as I popped up there, I do use gel stain. I really love gel stain just because it doesn't have the smell of a regular stain. And I usually just put it on with a foam brush and then wipe it off. It didn't go on the door front quite as well, but I actually like that little bit more distressed look. I picked up these hinges at the hardware store, and it took me way too long to figure out how to get them on, and really it's very simple, but I've never done a lot of hinges either, and the way that door front set, once I figured it out, it was perfectly fine, but it took me a ridiculous amount of time to figure it out. So I got those on, and then I had the piece of glass that was inside. I took that out and I cleaned it up, and I'm going to put a little saying on there with my Cricut, and then I will be ready to add my oils and hang this up. So I wanted to just comment for you guys quickly and let you know that I have really been super excited with the fact that I have been able to keep up with these videos. That was a huge goal of mine for 2020 after a lot of things, crazy things that happened in 2019 as I'd hoped. And so it has just been really fun for me to be able to keep up with all the videos, and I hope that it continues. I hope that things continue to allow me to do that. And that being said, I do have quite a few more videos coming up shortly, but as I post this one today, we are headed out as my husband is going to be having some minor surgery, and he's going to be in the hospital for an unsure amount of time, I guess. And so things will be a little bit crazy. I do have some videos and things ready to go. But if you'd like to follow along, you can follow us on Instagram and keep track of things. And I do, like I say, I do a lot of fun DIY things over on Instagram too, and share a little bit more behind the scenes type stuff. But I will also be updating all of that. But in the meantime, if I don't post too many videos in the next couple of weeks, that is why. Back to the project. To hang this, I am just using the little sawtooth hangers and making sure that they go through that thin wood as well as through into the 1x4s. And then I'm using my quilting ruler, but whatever, it's usually what's hanging out here. And I'm measuring out so that I have them spaced out. And then I'm just going to take my ruler over to the wall space and measure and mark where the nails go. So I measured them to be about 13 inches to the middle of each of those hangers. I had those little clipboards hanging up. I've had them up for a long time. It was kind of handy for a while to keep track of kids' papers because then they weren't falling off of the fridge all the time. But the kids are older now and they just don't bring home as many papers that we need to keep track of, so we don't use it. And yes, I know I need to paint my wall. That is a whole nother project for a whole nother day. But as you can see, my cabinet is just gonna hide it. There we go. So now I'm ready to insert the glass back in there with my saying. I did have to go in and put a little bit of backing on it to hold it in there, but I'm ready to add my oils and it'll be good to go. I use, and I've shared this before, oils from Simply Earth. I will put some codes down below if you guys are interested in anything Simply Earth. I will have some more oil videos coming for that. And of course, I did them in rainbow order because it's super pretty. And now that I have this hung up there, I think even without the door, maybe it wouldn't be so bold. I was afraid that it was going to be too bold to have all those bottles and colors and super distracting. But at the same time, I really like having that verse on the front of the door. You can't see it super well, but you can see it enough, and it kind of hides the bottles just enough to make it cute and fun. So I was a little skeptical about creating this project and then using the black stain. But all in all, now that I've had this hung up for a while, I absolutely love the way that it looks in this space. I love that it adds that pop of black color to some of the browns on that wall. So I'm really excited, and it turned out super fun. And aside from having to go and buy the hinges, it really didn't cost me anything because I had all of the stuff here already. So that is a bonus. So make sure you shop your house, shop your stash, shop your garage, ask your friends if they have any wood that they might be getting rid of. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. For more behind the scenes on today's video, as well as bonus DIYs and just a little bit of fun, make sure you're following me over on Instagram. That's where the party's at. Thanks so much for watching.